Joining me today, I have Reverend Dr. Robert Dean of Providence College. Dr. Dean, why don't you start by just kind of sharing a little bit about what you do there and how you are affiliated with this upcoming symposium as well.
Thanks, Sylvia. So I serve as Associate Professor of Theology and Ethics at Providence Theological Seminary. So I teach theology and ethics and some preaching as well to the students here. We've been involved, we were invited to apply for a Science for Seminary seed grant this past year, and we were fortunate enough to be one of the 12 schools in North America that were awarded grants for this coming year. So as part of that grant, we are staging a public event on Saturday, March 19th, Science and Faith Symposium.
So yeah, why don't you take it away? I would love to hear all the details about this upcoming symposium.
Yeah, so it's entitled "In Him All Things Hold Together," which is from Colossians chapter 1, verse 17, that gives us this majestic vision, cosmic vision of everything holding together in Christ. All things are created through Him, and all things hold together in Him, and that's really sort of a theme verse for us as we're thinking about bringing science and faith together in dialogue, recognizing that all things hold together in Christ. And out of that recognition in the past, Christians have approached the best learning of their days with confidence, confidence in Christ, who is the truth, and knowing that they do not need to fear the truth wherever it may be found. So we're hoping to stimulate some good conversation here, some dialogue between faith and science. And not only that, equip pastors for discerning reliable sources of information, and even equipping lay people. I mean, many people today, they're living their day-to-day lives in the worlds of science and technology, and they need to know how their life, how their work life and their life of faith interact and integrate with one another in a holistic way.
That sounds amazing. I do think it reaches further than necessarily just pastors talking to their congregation on a Sunday. I know it's something that I'm deeply curious about. How do these two coincide? I know that they do, but how do they? And I think it's a big topic and very important. I would love to know who is invited to this symposium.
Yes, so the symposium is, due to the generous grant we've received, we're able to offer the symposium for free to all who would like to participate. So it's going to be, because of the pandemic restrictions at the time that the conference was planned, we had to plan for being virtually. So the conference is going to be entirely online. There's information available on the Providence website, prov.ca/science and faith.
Wonderful. Okay, so is this an all-day event?
It is an all-day event. It begins at 9:30 with the first session, and that's with Dr. Josh Reeves, who is the director of the Center for Science and Religion at Samford University in Alabama. And he's going to be giving his titles are really intriguing. The first talk is going to be Christianity and Science, Where the Problem Lies. So I think he's going to be exploring some of the history of this tension between science and faith and helping us to understand that. And then at 11 a.m., his talk is entitled How to Trust an Expert, Becoming a Wise Consumer of Science. So I think there's much there, for us to ponder, I think, in that talk. And then in the afternoon, we have two scientists who are Christians who are going to be sharing from their work and life in science. Dr. Nyasha Gandora is a younger scientist who's a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Waterloo. And Dr. Keith Fox previously headed up the Faraday Institute for Science and Religion at Cambridge in the UK. So he's devoted a good part of his life to engaging with these conversations, and he's a biochemist. So they should bring some rich perspectives, and then we're going to try to hopefully bring things home to roost in Manitoba with a discussion panel featuring our own Providence faculty at the end of the day.
Would that include you as well?
I'll be moderating the discussion, so I'm sure I'll have a chance to contribute as well. We are planning to record the lectures and make them available on our Providence YouTube page as well at some point after the date. So You're not required to come to take in the whole day. You could take in a session here or there and catch up on other ones of interest later.
I think it's fantastic that you're able to offer it free. The topic is such a rich topic, like I said. Now, just a small question. Just wondering, in your own opinion, what might be one of the bigger disconnects between faith and science? I know that's a huge question, but is there kind of a relaying factor, this kind of sets people apart while these two don't mix together?
Yeah, we're deeply shaped by a narrative that has emerged in the last 200, 150 years that says science and faith are in competition. And historians have actually proven that that's a false narrative. That was the creation of some atheists who wanted to pit science and faith in competition in order to infiltrate the university at that time, which was entirely made up of Christian clergymen. So there's a historical piece to this, and that narrative has been originally propagated by atheists, but then latched onto by people of faith as well. And both sides have often, unfortunately, come to believe that this is the case. So there's a significant factor there that I think that history has led to misunderstanding on a variety of sides. So we have sometimes deep suspicion among some Christians about science, and then on other sides we have a misunderstanding of how science works. So when we have public figures talking about following the science, that's actually a misuse of science. Science can't dictate public policy. Although I would hope that science is informing the public policy, it's not a one-to-one equation. So there's lots of misunderstandings on all sides about what science is, what it can do, and what it can't do. And we're hoping to try to demystify some of that on Saturday.
Sounds amazing. I heard this. I definitely did not come up with it, but I heard science is the how, God is the why, or faith is the why. And I just thought, I like that. I like that a lot. And I do think the two go together. I think this is going to be a great event. Is there anything else that you want our listeners to know that I may have missed?
No, I don't think so. Just registration. You do need to register in order to receive the Zoom link. So it's free, but you do need to register to receive the link. And if you go to prov.ca/science and faith, you can register and see the full bios of all the speakers and the schedule for the day. And we're just excited here at Providence. We see an important part of our mission as being serving the church and equipping it to bear faithful witness in the world today. And we hope this event will advance that cause.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Dean. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Sylvia.